Hi everyone, my name is Lael Tate. I'm a member of the Navajo Nation and I live in Portland, Oregon. I work at the Northwest Portland Area Indian Health Board as the Suicide Prevention Project Coordinator. Our suicide prevention project at the Health Board is THRIVE, which stands for Tribal Health Reaching Out Involves Everyone. And I'm excited to go through some of these questions and talk a little bit about suicide prevention for September.
What does prevention or recovery look like to you?
So prevention to me really looks like destigmatizing mental health and conversations around suicide. It's really important if you are struggling with your mental health or struggling with suicidal ideation to have a community and a support system that you can turn to when you need help. So really that having that type of community who can help you, the first thing you need to do is destigmatize those words. So it's really important to just have those conversations and to continue learning and educating ourselves about mental health and how we can support our young people. And then another piece of prevention that's super important is instilling hope. Hope for life, hope for the next day. Having that hope to get through the really hard times is super important. And then also having different protective factors. So culture is prevention, traditional practices are prevention, having access to your traditional ways, your traditional religious practices. All of those are really important pieces of prevention. So how can we as Native people kind of have access to those different things and use those different things to support and promote suicide prevention? Another piece that's really important on maybe more of a national or media and communications level is rather than just promoting and sharing, negative statistics, sad stories, always talking about the negative or the down part of being Indigenous. Instead is sharing and showing hope, strength, and cultural pride and resiliency. So we have such amazing communities. There's so many amazing leaders doing such incredible work. And so how can we uplift and showcase those stories opposed to a lot of these negative statistics and negative messages that we get in the media? In terms of recovery, for me that looks like community support and having access to support. So access to professionals who are either Native and can understand where Native people are coming from, or who are trained in an understanding of tribal history, of our trauma-informed care, and then also having trusted friends, peers, and adults who can support the recovery process is super important.
Are there helpers who support prevention or recovery that you want to highlight?
Yes, one that I would love to showcase is comes out of the Northwest Portland Area Indian Health Board and our We Are Native program, and that is the Ask Auntie and Ask Uncle. So that's a really awesome service where youth can send in, type in, text in any question they have about anything, about life, about their health, about their mental health, about their relationships, and then they can get an answer from our Ask Auntie and Uncle team. That's a really great way just to promote reaching out for help, asking for help, and then also to showcase positive relationships with trusted adults and caring adults. And then also I'd like to showcase some of our sister organizations, the Center for Native American Youth and Native Wellness Institute. Right now, Thrive and We Are Native are partnering with them to really share a campaign, a social media campaign focused on Indigenous youth and self-love and self-care. So thinking about how self-love and self-care are huge pieces of prevention and recovery, and how can we really promote that on social media.
Do you have any resources for someone who may be in a crisis situation?
So a resource that we really rely on within my work and within the work that we do with the Health Board is the Suicide Prevention Lifeline. So that number is 1-800-273-8255. And then also the crisis text line. So you can access that by texting START to 741-741. Those are two really important resources for people who are in a crisis situation. And especially with everything going on with COVID and nationwide protests and the current wildfires, having that infrastructure in place to have a place to turn to 24/7 to reach out to is super important.
For Suicide Prevention Month, what message do you have for NICWA members?
Well, first I would say just thank you so much for the work you are doing. You are so strong, and the support you provide to Native youth and families is so crucial. I also think it's a huge part of prevention and recovery. By supporting families and children, you're promoting hope and community support, and maybe supporting people who are in recovery and who need more help with their mental health, or who need to have conversations around what they're going through. I would say that the work you're doing is so important and impactful, but it's also really draining, I think, in a lot of ways. So I would encourage you to, if you can, to rest and to take care of yourselves. I know it's hard a lot of times, but I think that's a really important part of the work we're doing to support our communities, is to also support ourselves. So I would just encourage that, but most of all, thank you for everything you're doing. And that's it for me. Thank you all so much. Yeah.